Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 6 articles for you in this episode. All the URLs are in the description of the video for your convenience. The first one here is off of mishtalk.com, and it says, odds surge to 80%. Surprisingly strong economy. Surged as high as 80%. Following comments today from 2 Fed presidents. The odds are 62%, as I am typing now. Let's investigate the spike. The Financial Times reports market odds of March rise in U.S. interest rates hit 80%. The March increase in U.S. interest rates shot up to 80% on Tuesday as Federal Reserve policymakers insisted they did not need to see Republican tax reforms and other policies before they act. William Dudley, influential head of the New York Federal Reserve, said that the prospects for adding to the December 2016 rate increase had become a lot more compelling. It seems to me that most of the data we've seen over the last couple months is very much consistent with the economy continuing to grow at an above-trend pace. Job gains remain pretty steady. Inflation has actually drifted up a little bit as energy prices have increased, he said in an interview with CNN. Mr. Dudley is typically considered to be a dove on the Fed's policy setting board, so his remarks were significant, according to Thomas Simmons, an economist at Jefferies, the investment bank. For Dudley, this is a hawkish and specific Fed, he said. John Williams, president of the San Francisco Fed, said on Tuesday that a move would be very much on the table for serious consideration in March. Parking the question of higher rates until June, on the other hand, would mean another half year since the last rate rise in spite of surprisingly strong economic data. New standards for surprising strong economy. Says, I have no idea what surprisingly strong economic data they're referring to, given that fourth quarter GDP is 1.9%, and the Atlantic Fed GDPN model suggests 5% for the first quarter. Is 2% the new standard for surprisingly strong growth? Yields jump. Yields jumping across the board, but rates on the short end rose more than 30-year-long bond. And there's some charts in this if you want to pull it up to see those. It says 1-year yield 12 or a plus pay, blah, blah, blah. Try that again. 1-year yield plus 12 basis points, 2-year yield plus 8 basis points, and a 3-year yield plus 5 basis points. And it says if the Fed hikes, and I am not convinced they will, we will quickly learn more about the surprisingly strong economy. So there's that. Be a very bad idea for them to raise the rate, but I will say this: if you are stacking silver or gold, keep on, because I think they're trying to inflate the bubble more, and when it bursts, it's not going to be pretty. Zero hedge, and if I can get it to scroll down here and cooperate with me. I'll tell you what, it's going to act up. I'll just reload it and see if that helps it any. Waiting for the hamster. Come on, buddy. Okay. It says New York Teamster pension becomes first to run out of money as expert warns pension tsunami is coming. New York Teamsters Road Carriers Local 707 pension fund has won the unfortunate award. Oops, scrolled a little too much there. It won the unfortunate award for first pension to officially run out of money. According to the New York Daily News and a host of angry former truck drivers who had their pension benefits slashed, the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corp, or the PC, has officially been forced to step in and take over payments to retirees of the local 707 rate. Teamsters Local 707's pension fund is officially bottom out financially, which job for over 30 years, Chamil said. We had collectively bargained contracts that promised us a pension. I paid into it. Paycheck. Everyone told us, don't worry, you have a union job. Your pension's guaranteed. It's a nightmare. It has just devastated all of our lives. I've gone from having $48,000 a year to less than half of that. 5 local 707 retirees who agreed to share their stories with the Daily News last week. I don't want to have to go through this. We need everyone to wake up and do something. That's why we're talking, says Ray Navarez. The Teamsters 707 and other Teamsters pension boards attempted to submit plans that would have cut benefits in order to prolong payments to retirees, but those plans were universally rejected by Obama administration. The pensions just run out of cash completely. Per pensions and try that again. Per pensions and investments, administration is in denial about the necessity of cutting pensions benefits under the Multi-Employer Pension Reform Act of 2014 to try to put distressed multi-employer plans on sounder financial footings and make them more sustainable. Face reality in order Treasury Department to stop blocking action. So far, the department required under the act to approve proposed reductions has rejected proposals by the Teamsters Central States, Southeast and Southwest Area Pension Plan, and the Road Carriers Local 707 Pension Fund. 10 plans total have applied for cuts, including the New York State Teamsters Conference Pension and Retirement Fund, and Syracuse, whose application is too new to be listed on the Treasury's website. The Road Carrier 707 application states that the plan projects solvent in February, only about 5 months away. The absent suspension of benefits. As desperate as this plan's financial situation appears to be, the Treasury denied the application. And while the 707 pension was the first to dry up, it certainly won't be the last. On the brink of drying up are the pensions for 641 and 560 in New Jersey. Union officials said, plus 3,500 35,000 Teamster members upstate who are part of the money hemorrhaging New York State Teamsters Pension Fund. Bigger than all of New York's Teamster locals combined is the Central States Pension Fund, another looming financial disaster that could leave 407,000 retirees without pensions across the Midwest and South. Meanwhile, under the maximum benefits provided by the PBGC, many former Teamsters like Ray Navarez said their monthly retirement checks have been slashed by 2/3. Like 4,000 other retired Teamster truckers got a letter from the local 707 in February of last year. It said monthly pensions had to be slashed by more than 1/3. Move to try to keep the dying fund solvent from nearly 3,500 to about 2,000. They said they were running out of money or in the pension fund, so we had to take the cut, said Navarez, whose wife was recently diagnosed with cancer. The stopgap measure didn't work, and after years of dangling over, the local 707's pension fund fell off the financial cliff this month. It turned to Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation, a government insurance company that covers pension. Guarantee Corp picked up local 707's retiree payouts, but the maximum benefit it gives a year is roughly $12,000 for workers who racked up at least 30 years. On the job, the payouts are smaller. Navarez now gets $1,170 a month before taxes. The Central State Pension General Council notes the real pension tsunami will come when the massive municipal and state plans. The same crisis now hitting local 707 among numerous Teamster locals around the country for the past decade, he said, and that includes in upstate New York. Almost uniformly organized by Teamsters has suffered enormous financial losses in its pension and welfare funds due to a crippling combination of deregulation and stock market crashes. This is a quiet crisis, but it's very real. There are currently plans on track for insolvency that's going to affect anywhere from 1.5 to 2 million people, said Nyhan. The prognosis is some new legislative help. Just private sector industries that are suffering, he added. Municipal and state plans are the next to go down. Tsunami that's coming, he said. In many states, those defined benefit plans are seriously underfunded. End of the day, math trumps the statutes. You have that. And I will throw this little piece of advice there for you if you happen to be hired by a company that has a pension plan. If they say, we are going to have to shut down the pension plan and give you a lump sum as fast as you can take it. Invest it in gold or silver, physical gold or silver, and buy a safe and keep it bolted down in your house or you can get to it. That's the only way you're going to be able to protect whatever wealth that you have in the coming days, in my opinion. What we have here is off of gatestone.eu, and it says, one German weekend, 2 cases of Southern-type gang raping women. 2 women in Germany last weekend became the victim of brutal sexual assaults in 2 separate incidents. In both cases, the attackers were described as Southern types operating in small bands. On Sunday night, 31-year-old woman in the city of Leverkusen was victimized by a gang of 3 men in the district of Kirchen. She was attacked by all 3 of the perpetrators and subsequently raped on a lawn by one of them. After the assault, the men fled in an unknown direction. And it's reported by Faye Zutin, or Frere Zutin, I don't know, I don't speak German. It says passers-by had later on found the crying woman sitting in the streets. She was dressed up as a hippie since she had just been out celebrating carnival. The men were dressed in dark clothes, between 20 and 30 years of age, and all had a southern appearance. This usually means they come from countries such as Algeria, Tanzania, Morocco, and Egypt. The public for help, and an arrest has yet to be made in the case. In Hamburg, 2 men on Sunday evening sexually assaulted a 46-year-old woman after beating her. It took place near a bridge called I don't know, Lombard Usserbrook, which is located on the riverbank of the Alster. The injured victim went to a hospital where she was investigated and treated, and other local media report, Focus D and other local media reported that. Afterwards, she spoke to police to file a complaint. Case as well, the woman referred to the rapist as being Southern descent, meaning Northern Africans, or lingo, it's so-called Nefiris. She could not describe the assailants more accurate. During the interrogation, the victims mentioned elderly couple passing by the location of the attack. They may be important witnesses, police have stated. Sexual violence appears to be on the rise in Germany. Category of felonies is often committed by refugees and other migrants. Public attention to the problem skyrocketed after the so-called Taharish in the city of Cologne, where on the New Year's Eve of 2015-2016, several hundreds of girls and young women were stripped, groped, and robbed by some thousand nefarious and Arabs, all of whom have escaped punishment for their crimes. Since then, German police, and there's a note on this. It says, Gatestone Europe greatly appreciates your comments. Section in this, if you want to pull this up to see what other folks have to say about all this. Conservative Tribune decides to release O.J. Simpson. Convicted felon O.J. Simpson may soon be a free man if reports regarding his upcoming parole hearing hold any water. According to UK Daily Express, a tabloid newspaper, the parole board at Lovelock Correctional Center in Nevada planned to at a July 3rd parole hearing that Simpson be released on good behavior. Experts believe the board will vote to release the fallen sports star at the earliest possible date of October the 3rd, Express reported. It would be 9 years to the day after he was sentenced to 33 years for a string of charges, including armed robbery and kidnapping. Moreover, it would be 22 years since Simpson was acquitted of murdering his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend and restaurant waiter, Ron Goldman. He'll be coming out this fall and is counting down the days to his hearing like a kid waiting for Christmas, his partners told the Express. It would be a blessing for Simpson. It might not be for the victims of his robbery. Video in this. Get it to scroll here. Matters is the fact that the convicted former NFL player, now 69 years old, reportedly has a fortune of approximately $2.69 million in pension funds waiting for him that cannot be garnished to pay off his nearly $34 million in debt. That debt is the money Simpson owes the families of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman, who successfully sued him in civil court 20 years ago. If O.J. Simpson really is released next October, a very sad day, not just for his robbery victims, but also for the family members of Brown and Goldman as well. The next article that I have for you is off of and it says U.S. Army's name, or blah, blah. Easy for me to say, right? U.S. Army names Muslim chaplain spiritual leader of 14,000 mostly Christian soldiers. Why has this odd bit of try that again, Islamophobe pandering, there we go, been undertaken now? Everybody's idea of a rebuke to President Trump? Were there no Christian chaplains available? And was it not considered that a Christian chaplain might be a more suitable leader for an overwhelmingly Christian population? If chaplain had been appointed the spiritual leader of an overwhelmingly Muslim force, would there not have been protests? How will Khalid Shabazz handle the spiritual affairs of 14,000 mostly Christian soldiers? If they affirm the divinity of Christ, they have certainly disbelieved to say that Allah is Christ, the Son of many. And that's the Quran 5:17. Observe Good Friday. They did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but it appeared so to them in the Quran 4:157. Of course, it is certain that none of the Quran's many critiques of Christianity were discussed while this appointment was being considered Islamophobic. Muslim army chaplains to steward 14,000 mostly Christian soldiers by Benet or Jonah Bennett, I guess it is, from the Daily Caller, February 27th, 2017, thanks to the Geller report, says, Army Lieutenant Colonel Khalid Shabazz, a Muslim chaplain, has accepted the job of handling the spiritual affairs of 14,000 mostly Christian soldiers. I'm on the phone saying, thank you, I appreciate it, terribly, and then hang up the phone, and I'm jumping all around like a little kid, Shabazz said. I was running around the office saying, Alhamdulillah, God. Out of 1,400 chaplains in the Army, only 5 are Muslim, and across all the services, there are only 10 Muslim chaplains total. Known as Michael Barnes, was born Lutheran in Louisiana. He later joined the Army at 23 and was stationed in Germany, where he worked with a Muslim soldier. He says he quickly grew tired of the Muslim soldier bragging about Islam, so he challenged him to a public debate. The ensuing debate, while on the base to reevaluate his religion, he subsequently converted and changed his name before encountering struggle after struggle in the Army and later joining on with the Chaplain Corps. He is now served, or he's now served as a chaplain for 18 years and has deployed to Iraq, Kosovo, and Guantanamo Bay. Shabazz said he is not interested in converting anyone to Islam, but some soldiers do end up converting. My job is not to convert anybody to Islam, Shabazz said. God guides people. My only goal is to have people leave my office stronger than they were when they came in. Most of the time, Shabazz spends his hours advocating for Islam so as to prevent anti-Muslim incidents on the bases. The article in this episode is off of American News, and it says, alert, announcement about who they caught crossing the border. According to recent reports, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection and U.S. Border Patrol agents just apprehended individuals who were attempting to sneak across the border over the weekend, but they weren't who you might expect. CBP confirmed to Breitbart, Texas, that one Iraqi national and one Egyptian national were detained after illegally entering the country through Mexico. Though CBP did not confirm if the two criminals were men, another source implied they were both males. Border Patrol released a statement confirming agents from Lordsburg Station apprehended the two individuals at 2:15 p.m. along the Arizona State Route 80. Record checks and interviews produced no derogatory information, and the two individuals were placed into removal proceedings, the statement said. The area of the border where the two foreign nationals are believed to have crossed does not have barriers, Breitbart reports. The area south of the border from where the individuals were apprehended is notoriously controlled by criminal groups working for the Sinaloa Federation or cartel. It is highly unlikely the two men from the Middle East were traveling into the United States without the cartel's consent. At this point, we cannot confirm the intentions of these two individuals, but we do know they were breaking the law by entering the country. Full intent or not, this is just another example of why we need a border wall. There you have all I have in this episode. I have another episode to follow. So if you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. That way you'll stay informed.